Welcome to another episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Afternoon, YouTube. Here with you this afternoon to bring you a special kind of video. It's kind of a warning type video. I've been thinking a lot about the troubleshooting video I've been promising now for a little while, and I'm going to make it, but there are some very, very specific warnings to adhere to when you try something like this. So I want to make this deadly clear that it can be deadly. So basically what I'm talking about is the importance of isolation and the fact that you cannot connect two radio chassis together. You can't do that. There's too much of there's way too many hazards to be involved in that, and you just can't do it. There's too big of a danger in doing that. I mean, unless you absolutely positively know exactly what you're doing, you better not do that, because there is a potential to short out the line, number one, and that's going to throw your breaker in a tizzy, or your fuse, whatever you've got in your fuse box. That's probably the minor thing. The important thing is you could get killed. That's what we want to avoid. So that's why I'm making this, and I'm going to make this in conjunction. And you'll notice when I do the troubleshooting video itself, there will be some warnings in that too. This is something you really need to know, and you know, I'm all for experimentation and things like that, but I like to do it safely. I don't want to cause anybody to die over this. This is stupid. But anyway, this can be done safely if you adhere to these rules. And the first rule is you don't, like I just said, you do not ever connect two radio chassis together by a direct wire. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You don't hook a clip lead to one radio chassis from the other, or vice versa. It's just you don't do that. That's not done. Next rule is, for absolutely safety's sake, I know some of you guys don't have a lot of test equipment, but if you're going to work on these radios at all, you better have an isolation transformer. That's just it's the first piece of equipment you should buy, if you do buy anything. And I think most of the people that I'm addressing this to probably have an isolation transformer. So here's the important thing is, one radio needs to be plugged into the isolation transformer. Okay, that's where it should get its power from, through the isolation transformer. But the other radio should be hooked directly to the line. Now that's important because that isolates the two radios from each other. Okay, they're neither one connected to the same line. Okay, and that's basically the same thing as you do with your test equipment. You never ever hook your test equipment to the same line that your radio or your device under test is hooked to. It's just not done because there's too big of a potential for shock hazard there. So that's the first two rules. And the next rule is never ever, even at the signal level. Now when I say signal level, I'm talking about like when we inject a signal from one radio into the other. We're not talking about the chassis ground here. We're talking about the actual signal. You never ever do a direct connection there. So basically you never ever connect a direct wire from one radio to the other, any part of it. Okay? There's just too big of a hazard there. And when we do these signal borrowing techniques, we're either going to be going through a capacitor, or we're going to use inductive coupling. And that's basically a coil of wire from the working radio placed near the non-working radio to get the signal there. That's what we're doing. So those are the three basic things I want to get through to you guys. It's just bad business to try to connect a radio chassis from one to the other. I'm going to show you when I actually do the troubleshooting video what can happen and why it's a bad idea. But suffice to say, you've got the potential there to power a light or a drill or any other device that you would want to run, like when you plug it into the wall between those two radio chassis. That's what's there. So you do not want to, and you want to be especially careful with the one that's plugged into the wall, into the line, because they, a lot of them are chassis grounded, like the one I'm going to be working on, the Zenith. It's a transistor set, but it is, half of it, or one half of it, one side of the circuit is hooked directly to the electric line. So there's a potential there, depending on which way you plug that plug into the wall, of having a live voltage on the chassis. So that's why we want to avoid this stuff. Now again, like I said, if you absolutely positively know exactly what you're doing, you can do this. But for our purposes, you can't do it. So that's all I wanted to do. I didn't get the chance, like I said, over the weekend to make this video. I did have girls all weekend, and they will be back this evening for supper, and so I won't have a real big chance to do it. I'm hoping maybe Tuesday. Tuesday should be a drop-off day where I just pick them up and drop them off at their father's workplace here in town, and that way I can probably get some of this done. In the meantime, I'm going to try to clean my desk off, my bench off, and get a working area where I can have some room to work on this stuff. And I got a lot of different ideas on how I want to do this, and I just basically want to make sure that you guys are safe out there, and we don't do anything stupid. I'm totally against doing things stupid. I do things stupid sometimes. Everybody does. But I try to avoid it at all possibility, if at all possible. I can't talk today. Anyway, I just want to make this little video to go over that with you. And again, when I do the actual video, you'll probably get tired of me saying this, but I do want you guys to be safe, and I don't want anybody harmed in trying this. So that's why I'm doing all this, and so. That's all I've got to say for now. Hopefully I'll be back with you maybe tomorrow, and I'll get some stuff together that I need to get together for this little experiment, and we'll go from there. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. See ya.